Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Starbound. He looked out at the dark space filled with stars. His crew had been traveling for 3 months looking for new worlds that humans could live on. Jake was 35 years old and had been a space captain for 10 years. He was tall with brown hair and blue eyes that always seemed to be thinking about something. "Captain, we're getting a strange signal," said Dr. Lisa Parker, the ship's scientist. She was a smart woman with red hair who studied languages and sounds from space. "It's coming from the Kepler 442 system." Jake walked over to her computer screen. "What kind of signal?" Lisa pointed at the wavy lines on her screen. "It's not random noise. Look at these patterns. They repeat every few minutes. Someone or something is sending this on purpose." The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Jake's crew of 20 people had been together for 2 years. They trusted each other and worked well as a team. "Is it dangerous?" asked Pete Collins, the ship's engineer. Pete was a big man with black hair who could fix anything that broke on the ship. "I don't think so," Lisa said, "but it's definitely not human. The math is too complex and there's something else strange about it." "What?" Jake asked. Lisa looked puzzled. "It sounds like it has feelings in it. I know that sounds crazy, but when I listen to it, it makes me feel sad and lonely." Amy Rodriguez, the security chief, crossed her arms. She was a strong woman with dark hair who kept everyone safe. "Feelings in a radio signal? That doesn't make sense." "I know how it sounds," Lisa said, "but I've studied alien signals for 15 years. This one is different. It's like someone is calling out, hoping someone will answer." Jake thought for a moment. The Starbound was far from Earth and any help. If they found something dangerous, they would be on their own, but finding new life was why they were out here. "How far away is the signal coming from?" he asked. "About 6 hours at full speed," said Tony. "Right." The pilot, Tony, was young with blonde hair and always ready for adventure. Jake made his decision. "Set course for Kepler 442, but everyone stay alert. We don't know what we'll find." The ship turned and began moving toward the signal. Jake went to his room to think. He had been in space long enough to know that the universe was full of surprises. Some were good and some were very bad. 6 hours later, the Starbound arrived at the Kepler 442 system. What they saw took their breath away. "Captain, you need to see this," Tony called out. Jake hurried back to the bridge. Through the big window he could see a huge structure floating in space near a giant planet. It looked like it was made of crystal that caught the light from the nearby star. Structure was bigger than any city on Earth and seemed to glow with its own soft light. "That's not natural," Pete said, his voice full of wonder. "No, it's definitely built by someone," Lisa agreed, "and the signal is coming from inside it." The crystal structure was beautiful in a way that made Jake's chest feel tight. It had tall towers and smooth curves that seemed to flow like water, but it was clearly a machine of some kind, not a natural formation. "Are there any weapons on it?" Amy asked. Always thinking about safety, Pete checked his instruments. "I can't see any guns or missiles, but there's a lot of energy inside it, more than our entire ship uses in a year." Suddenly the signal changed. Instead of the sad, lonely sound, it became bright and excited. "It knows we're here," Lisa said, her eyes wide. "The signal just got stronger. It's like it's happy to See us before Jake could respond. Something incredible happened. A gentle blue light surrounded the starbound. The ship began moving toward the crystal structure, but not in a scary way. It felt like being guided by a careful hand. Captain, I'm not controlling the ship, Tony said, his hands moving over the controls. Something else is flying. Us, can you get control back? Jake asked. I'm trying, but it's not working. Whatever is doing this is much more advanced than our technology. Amy reached for her weapon, but Jake held up his hand. Wait, if they wanted to hurt us, they could have destroyed us already. Let's see what they want. Starbound was pulled gently into a large opening in the crystal structure. Inside, the walls glowed with soft colors that moved and changed like a rainbow. The ship landed on a smooth platform that seemed to be made just for them. The air outside is safe to breathe, Pete reported, checking his instruments. Temperature is perfect for humans. It's like they made it comfortable for us on purpose. Jake looked at his crew. They were scared, but also excited. This was the moment they had all dreamed of, meeting life from another world. Lisa, Amy, Pete, you're with me. Tony, stay with the ship and be ready to leave quickly if something goes wrong. The four of them put on their spacesuits and walked to the ship's door. Jake's heart was beating fast as he pressed the button to open it. The door slid open and they stepped out onto the alien platform. The air shimmered around them, and suddenly 3 figures appeared as if they had been invisible. Jake had never seen anything so beautiful and strange. The beings were tall and graceful, about 7 feet high. Their skin seemed to be made of light that changed colors as they moved. They had faces that looked almost human, but with large eyes that held wisdom beyond anything Jake had ever seen. The being in the center stepped forward. When she spoke, her voice was like music, and somehow Jake understood every word, even though she wasn't speaking English. Welcome, humans from the planet Earth. I am Queen Zarathis of the Venari Empire. We have been waiting for you for a very long time. Jake stared at the alien queen, trying to understand what was happening. Her skin changed from blue to silver as she spoke, and her large eyes seemed to look right into his soul. You've been waiting for us? Jake asked. How do you know about Earth? Queen Zarathis smiled, and when she did, her skin glowed brighter. We have watched your people for many years. Your radio signals, your television shows, your music, they all travel through space. We learned your language by listening to your voices. Lisa stepped forward, her scientist mind full of questions. Your technology must be incredibly advanced. How long have your people been traveling in space? For over 10,000 of your years. The queen replied, we have seen many worlds and many different types of life. But humans are special. Amy kept her hand near her weapon, still worried about danger. What makes us special? The queen's expression became sad, and her skin turned a darker blue color. You feel things deeply. Love, anger, joy, fear. These emotions make you strong. My people, we have lost this gift. She led them through corridors made of the same glowing crystal. The walls showed moving pictures of alien worlds and strange creature. Jake saw cities that floated in the air and ships that moved between stars like dolphins swimming through water. This is beautiful, Pete said, looking around in wonder. How do you make the walls glow like this? The crystal responds to our thoughts and feelings, Queen Zarathis explained, but For my people, the colors are very dim. Now, we have become too logical too. Cold, we think perfectly, but we feel nothing. They entered a large room with a high ceiling that looked like the inside of a giant diamond. Other Velnari were there, all tall and graceful like the queen, but their skin barely glowed at all. They watched the humans with curious eyes, but showed no other emotion. Sit, please, the queen said, gesturing to chairs that grew out of the floor like plants. I must tell you why we brought you here. Jake sat down carefully. The chair was comfortable and seemed to adjust to his body perfectly. You brought us here, you mean the signal was meant to attract us? Yes. We have been calling to your people for months, hoping someone would come. Queen sat across from Jake, and he noticed that when she looked at him, her skin became warmer in color. My people are dying, Captain Morrison. Dying? You look healthy to me, Lisa said. Not dying in the way you understand, the queen replied. We live for thousands of years, and our bodies are strong, but we are dying inside. We no longer form bonds with each other. We no longer feel love or joy or even sadness. Without these feelings, we cannot continue as a species. Jake felt sorry for her, even though she was an alien. He could see the pain in her large eyes. How did this happen? Long ago, we decided that emotions made us weak. We created technology to make us smarter and more logical. It worked too well. Over many generations, we lost our ability to feel. Now we can solve any problem except the most important one: how to live with meaning and purpose. Amy frowned. So you want us to help you feel again? We believe that by studying humans, by learning from your emotional responses, we might find a way to restore what we have lost. The queen leaned forward, and Jake noticed her skin getting brighter. In return, we would share our technology with your people. We could give you faster ships, unlimited energy, and medicine that could help humans live for centuries. Pete's eyes went wide. You could really do that and much more. We could help humanity explore the entire galaxy. Together we could build something wonderful. Jake looked at his crew. This was bigger than anything they had imagined when they left Earth. Technology the Velnari were offering could change everything for humanity. But something bothered him. Why us? Specifically, there are billions of humans on Earth. Why not contact our government directly? The queen was quiet for a moment. Because governments think about politics and power. You are explorers like we once were. You came here looking for something new, not trying to conquer or control. Lisa was studying the other Nari in the room. Your people don't seem very excited about this plan. Do they all agree with you? Not all, the queen admitted. Some believe that working with humans is dangerous. They think your emotions are too wild, too unpredictable. Commander the Zalar, my military leader, believes we should find our own solution. As if hearing his name, one of the Venari approached. He was taller than the queen, and his skin was a cold silver color. When he spoke, his voice had no warmth at all. Your Majesty, I must protest this meeting. These humans could contaminate our people with their unstable emotional patterns. Jake stood up, feeling defensive. Contaminate? We're just trying to help, Commander. The Zalar looked at Jake with emotionless eyes. Your species fights wars over small disagreements. You destroy your own planet for short-term gains. You make decisions based on feelings instead of logic. This is not contamination at Least we're alive, Amy said angrily. At least we care about something. Commander's skin went even colder. Color caring leads to suffering. Logic leads to peace, does it? Jake asked. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like logic led to a dead end. Your people are disappearing not because they're being killed, but because they've forgotten how to live. Queen Zarathus stepped between them. Enough. Commander Thexler, you may leave. Captain Morrison, please forgive him. He speaks for many of my people, but not all. After the commander left, the Queen turned back to Jake. This is why we need your help. We have become so afraid of feeling pain that we stopped feeling anything at all, but you humans embrace both joy and sorrow. You find strength in your connections to each other. Lisa had been quiet, thinking hard. Your Majesty, this is fascinating from a scientific point of view, but I have to ask, how do we know this isn't some kind of trap? How do we know you won't just study us and then get rid of us? The Queen's skin shifted to a deep purple color. You don't know. You must choose to trust us, just as we are choosing to trust you. This is what my people have forgotten how to do, to have faith in others despite the risk. Jake felt the weight of the decision. His crew was looking at him, waiting for his choice. Earth was months away, and no one there knew where they were. If this went wrong, they might never see home again. But he looked at Queen Zarathus and saw something in her eyes that reminded him of humanity at its best. Hope despite fear, courage despite uncertainty. What exactly are you asking us to do? He said finally. Stay with us for a while. Let us observe how you interact with each other and with us. Share your knowledge of human emotions and relationships. In return, we will teach you about our technology and our history, and if we say no, then we will take you safely back to your ship and send you on your way. The choice is yours, Captain Morrison, but please understand, you may be our last hope to become truly alive again. Jake looked at his crew one more time. Lisa nodded slowly, her curiosity winning over her caution. Pete seemed excited about learning alien technology. Amy still looked worried, but she trusted Jake's judgment. Will stay, Jake said, but I have conditions. Queen Zarathus tilted her head, interested. What conditions? First, my crew stays together. We don't get separated or isolated. Second, we can contact our ship anytime we want. Third, if we decide to leave, you let us go immediately. Agreed, the Queen said without hesitation. Is there anything else? Jake thought for a moment. Yes, complete honesty. No tricks, no hidden tests, no manipulation. If we're going to help each other, it has to be real. Something strange happened when Jake said this. Queen Zarathus's skin began to glow brighter than before, shifting through colors like a sunset. For the first time since they had met her, she looked truly alive. I accept your conditions, she said, and I promise you complete honesty starting now. Commander Thexler was right about one thing. Your emotions are having an effect on us already. When you speak with passion and conviction, when you show care for your crew, it awakens something in us that we thought was gone forever. Over the next few days, the humans learned amazing things about the Velnari. They were shown laboratories where scientists could create new materials just by thinking about them. They saw ships that could travel between stars in minutes instead of years. They visited gardens where plants grew in perfect harmony, creating music as the wind moved through their leaves. But the most interesting Discovery came from Lisa. She had been studying how the Velnari communicated and noticed something important. Jake, you need to see this, she said, calling him to her temporary laboratory. I've been recording the Velnar's skin color changes when they talk to us versus when they talk to each other. She showed him her computer screen with different colored patterns. Look at this. When Queen Zarathias talks to you, her skin shows dozens of different colors, but when she talks to other Velari, it barely changes at all. What does that mean? Jake asked. I think it means they're starting to feel emotions again, but only around us. We're like a catalyst. We're helping them remember what they used to be. Pete had made a similar discovery while working with Nari engineers. Their technology is incredible, he told Jake, but it's all about efficiency and logic. They've forgotten how to create things just because they're beautiful or fun. When I showed them how humans design things based on what feels good, not just what works well, they were fascinated. Amy had been training with Velnari security forces and had her own observations. They're perfect fighters in terms of strategy and tactics, she said, but they don't understand why humans fight so hard to protect people they love. They can't comprehend why someone would risk their own life for another person's safety. But the biggest change was happening with Queen Zarathis herself. She spent more and more time with Jake, asking him endless questions about human relationships, human dreams, and human fears. Tell me about love, she said to him one evening as they walked through the crystal gardens. Your people use this word constantly, but I don't understand what it means. Jake thought about how to explain something so basic yet so complex. Love is when someone else's happiness becomes more important than your own. It's when you would do anything to protect them, even if it cost you everything. But that seems illogical, the Queen said. Why would you put another person's needs above your own survival? Because life isn't just about surviving, Jake replied. It's about finding meaning, finding connection, finding something worth living for. Without love, we're just existing. The Queen stopped walking and looked at him with those large, wise eyes. When you speak of love, your voice changes, your whole body changes. There's a warmth that spreads from you. I can feel it, even though I thought I had lost the ability to feel anything. Jake realized he was developing feelings for this alien queen. It seemed impossible. They were from different worlds, different species, but when he was with her, he felt a connection he had never experienced before. Your Majesty, he began, but she interrupted him. Please call me Zara. When you use my title, it creates distance between us. I don't want distance anymore, Zara, Jake said, and her skin immediately became warmer and brighter. I have to tell you something. Spending time with you, learning about your people, it's changing me too. I've never met anyone like you. Is this what humans call attraction? She asked, stepping closer to him. It's more than that, Jake said. Honestly, I think I'm falling in love with you. The effect on Zara was immediate and dramatic. Her skin burst into colors Jake had never seen before. Golds and purples and blues that seemed to dance and swirl. For a moment she looked overwhelmed by the intensity of what she was feeling. I don't understand what's happening to me, she said, her voice shaking. For centuries, I felt nothing. Now when I'm with you, it's like my whole being is coming alive. Is this how humans feel all the time? Not all the time, Jake said. Gently. But the good feelings make the difficult ones worth it, that's what. Your people gave up, not just the pain, but the joy too. Zara reached out and touched Jake's face with her hand. Her skin was warm and smooth, and where she touched him, he felt a gentle tingling sensation. I want to feel everything, she said. I want to understand what it means to be truly alive. But their moment was interrupted by a commotion. From the main hall, Commander Thexler's voice echoed through the crystal corridors, loud and angry. Your Majesty, this experiment has gone too far. The humans are corrupting our people. Jake and Zara hurried to see what was happening. In the main hall, they found several Nari arguing loudly, something that apparently never happened in their emotionless society. What is the meaning of this? Zara demanded. Commander Thexler pointed at the arguing. Look at them, they're acting like wild animals. This is what happens when we allow human emotions to influence us. But Lisa, who had been watching the scene, had a different interpretation. They're not acting like animals, she said. They're acting like people who care about something. Look closer. Jake watched the arguing Nari and realized Lisa was right. They weren't fighting out of anger or hatred. They were passionate about their ideas, each one trying to convince the others because they believed their point of view was important. This is how humans solve problems, Jake explained to Commander Thexler. We argue and debate because we care about finding the right answer. It's messy and loud, but it leads to better solutions than just accepting whatever one person decides. This is chaos, the commander insisted. No, Queen Zara said, her skin glowing with new understanding. This is life. This is what we lost when we chose logic over feeling. We stopped disagreeing because we stopped caring enough to disagree. She turned to address all the Nari in the hall. Look at yourselves. For the first time in generations, you're passionate about something. You're engaged. You're alive. Commander Thexler's skin turned cold. Silver, Your Majesty, I formally request that you end this experiment. The humans must be sent away before they destroy our civilization. Queen Zara stood taller and her skin blazed with confident colors. No, Commander. Our civilization was already destroyed by our own fear of feeling. The humans aren't corrupting us, they're saving us. The tension in the crystal hall was thick enough to cut. Commander Thexler stood with a group of Nari whose skin remained cold and colorless. On the other side, Queen Zara was surrounded by Velnari whose skin showed the first hints of emotional color in centuries. Your Majesty, Commander the Zalor said, his voice like ice, you have been compromised by these humans. You are no longer thinking clearly. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in my entire life, Zara replied, her skin shifting through determined shades of gold and red. For the first time, I understand what we gave up when we chose to become emotionless machines. Jake stepped forward, knowing he was walking into a dangerous situation. Commander, I understand your concerns. Change is scary, especially when it challenges everything you believe. You understand nothing human, Thexler replied. You've been here for days and think you know our people. We have maintained peace and order for thousands of years through logic and discipline, but at what cost? Lisa asked, joining the conversation. You've achieved peace by becoming dead. Inside, that's not progress, that's surrender. Before anyone could respond, An alarm began sounding throughout the crystal structure. A Nari technician approached Queen Zara quickly. Your Majesty, we are detecting incoming ships. Multiple vessels approaching at high speed. Jake felt his stomach drop. Are they? No, the technician replied. The energy signatures match human technology, but these ships are much larger than yours, Amy cursed. Under her breath, the Earth Colonial Alliance found us. Queen Zara looked confused. Who is the Earth Colonial Alliance? They're like your military, but they control most of human space exploration, Jake explained, and they definitely won't be happy that we're here making contact without permission. Through the crystal walls they could see lights approaching fast. 5 massive human warships emerged from faster than light travel, their weapon systems clearly visible. All ships. This is Admiral Karen Hayes of the Earth Colonial Alliance. A voice echoed through space, picked up by the Velnari sensor. You are in violation of first contact protocols. Surrender immediately or face the consequences. Jake recognized the name. Admiral Hayes was known for her aggressive approach to alien contact. She believed humans should always negotiate from a position of strength. Can they hear us if we respond? Jake asked. Yes, Queen Zara said. Our communication systems can reach their ships. Jake took a deep breath and walked to the communication panel. Admiral Hayes, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the Exploration Vet Starbound. The situation here is peaceful. We're engaged in diplomatic talks with the Velnari. Captain Morrison, you are under arrest for unauthorized contact with alien species. Admiral Hayes replied. You will return to your ship immediately and surrender to Alliance custody. I can't do that, Admiral. These people need our help, and they have technology that could benefit all of humanity. You are hereby relieved of command and branded a traitor to humanity. We will retrieve you by force if necessary, Commander. Thexer stepped forward, his skin even colder than before. You see, this is how humans solve their problems, with threats and violence. Your own people are ready to attack you for talking to us. Jake felt anger rising in his chest. Not all humans are like that, just like not Alari are like you, but the situation was getting worse. The Alliance ships were moving closer, and their weapons were charging up. At the same time, Jake could see warships emerging from hidden positions around the crystal structure. Your Majesty, Commander Thexler said, I request permission to defend our territory against these human invaders. No, Queen Zara said firmly. Violence will only prove their point that we cannot work together. Then what do you suggest? The commander asked. That we surrender to these humans who call their own people traitors for trying to help us. Jake realized that both sides were preparing for a fight that would destroy any chance of cooperation between their species. He had to do something, but what? That's when he remembered something from his military training on Earth. Sometimes the best way to stop a fight was to put yourself in the middle. First have an idea, he said to Queen Zara. But you're not going to like it. What do you mean? I'm going to go back to my ship and surrender to Admiral Hayes. No, Zara's skin flashed through angry reds and worried blues. They'll take you away. They might even execute you for treason. Maybe, Jake said, but if I don't go, there's going to be a battle. Your people will fight my people, and everything we've accomplished here will be destroyed. Amy grabbed Jake's arm. Captain, this is crazy. You can't trust the Alliance to be reasonable. I don't trust the Alliance, Jake said, but I trust you. And I trust our friends here. Sometimes you have to take a risk to show others that cooperation is possible. Lisa nodded slowly. It's a very human thing to do, sacrifice yourself for a chance at peace. Commander Thexler watched this conversation with growing confusion. You would surrender to your enemies to protect us? Why? Jake looked at the commander, then at Queen Zara, whose skin was now showing the deep purples and blues of sadness and fear. Because that's what love means, Jake said. Simply, you protect the people you care about, even when it costs you everything. Queen Zara stepped forward and took Jake's hands in hers. Her skin was warm and bright despite her fear. I won't let you go alone. If you surrender to your people, I'm coming with you, Zara. No. They might see you as a threat. Then they'll see both of us as threats. Together, her skin shifted to determined gold. You taught me that love means choosing to stand with someone, no matter what happens. I choose to stand with you. Commander Thexler stared at them both for the first time since Jake had met him. The commander's skin showed a hint of color, a faint silver glow that suggested he was beginning to understand something new. Your Majesty, he said quietly, if you are determined to do this dangerous thing, then I will come too. It is my duty to protect you and mine to protect both of you, Amy said, checking her weapons. Pete nodded. Count me in too. We're a crew. Lisa smiled. And I need to document this historic moment. Queen Zara looked around at all of them, humans and Velnari, choosing to face danger together instead of fighting each other. Her skin blazed with colors Jake had never seen before. This is what we lost, she said to her people, this willingness to risk everything for others. This is what makes life worth living, Commander. The Zealor stepped forward, his skin now showing clear silver light. Your Majesty, for the first time in my long life, I think I understand what you mean. Together, the mixed group of humans and Velnari walked toward the starbound outside the Alliance. Warships waited with their weapons ready, while Velnari ships held defensive positions. Jake hoped that their act of faith would be enough to prevent a war, but as they approached the human fleet, he knew they were all walking into the unknown, trusting in the power of cooperation and love to overcome fear and hatred. The real test was about to begin. The docking bay of Admiral Hayes's flagship was cold and unwelcoming. Jake, his crew, Queen Zara, and Commander Thexler stood together as human soldiers surrounded them with weapons drawn. Contrast was stark, the humans in their gray military uniforms and the Velnari with their glowing, colorful skin. Admiral Hayes was a tall woman with steel gray hair and eyes that seemed to judge everything they saw. She looked at the group with obvious displeasure. Captain Morrison, you've exceeded even my worst expectations, she said coldly. Not only did you make unauthorized contact with an alien species, but you've brought them aboard an Alliance vessel. Admiral, if you'll just listen to what we've learned, Jake began, but she cut him off. What you've learned? What you've learned is how to commit treason. She turned to look at Queen Zara, whose skin was shifting through worried blues and protective golds. And you, I assume you're some kind of leader among your people. I am Queen Zarathis. Zara replied with dignity, and I come here hoping to build friendship between Our peoples, Admiral Hayes laughed. Harshly, friendship, your people could destroy humanity with your advanced technology. Why would you want friendship when you could simply take whatever you want? Commander Thexler stepped forward, his skin now showing bright silver determination. Because, human admiral, we have learned something from your people that our technology could never give us. And what's that? We have learned how to be alive. The admiral looked confused. What nonsense is this? Jake stepped between them. Admiral, the Velnari aren't a threat to humanity. They're dying out because they lost their ability to feel emotions. They need our help to remember what it means to live with passion and purpose. And in return, Admiral Hayes asked suspiciously, in return they offer to share technology that could advance human civilization by thousands of years. Lisa said, clean energy faster than light travel, medical advances that could eliminate disease, technology that could also be used as weapons against us. Queen Zara spoke up, her voice gentle but firm. Admiral Hayes, I understand your fear, but consider this. If we wanted to destroy humanity, we could have done so long before your people ever left their home planet. We have watched you for years and chosen not to harm you. Why would we start now? The Admiral was quiet for a moment, clearly thinking. Jake could see the internal struggle in her eyes, the military training that told her to see every alien as a potential enemy, fighting against the logical realization that the Nari had shown no hostility. Even if I believed you, Admiral Hayes said finally, I don't have the authority to make this kind of decision. This has to go back to Earth, to the Colonial Council. How long would that take? Jake asked. Months, maybe years. Commander Thexler's skin flashed with frustrated orange. Our people don't have years, Admiral. Every day that passes, more of us lose the ability to form connections with others. Soon we will be unable to continue as a species. Amy had been quiet up to this point, but now she spoke up. Admiral, with respect, you're thinking about this all wrong. Excuse me, Lieutenant, you're treating this like a military problem, but it's not. It's a humanitarian crisis. Velnari are asking for help to save their civilization. If we turn our backs on them, what does that say about humanity? Pete nodded. And from a practical standpoint, we're talking about an alliance with a species that has technology we can barely imagine. This could be the greatest opportunity in human history. Admiral Hayes looked around at Jake's crew, all of them standing together with their Velnari friends. You're all willing to risk your careers, even your lives, for these aliens. They're not just aliens anymore. Jake said, they're our friends, and yes, we're willing to risk everything for friendship. Something in the Admiral's expression began to change. Jake could see her remembering what it meant to take risks for something greater than military protocol. Your Majesty, Admiral Hayes said to Queen Zara, if I were to recommend this alliance to Earth, what assurances could you give that your people won't turn against us later? Queen Zara thought for a moment, then did something unexpected. She reached out and took Jake's hand, her skin glowing brighter as their fingers intertwined. I can give you the greatest assurance possible, she said. I can give you my heart. She turned to Jake, her large eyes filled with emotions that had been buried for centuries. Jake Morrison, you have taught me what it means to love. You have shown me that life is not about existing safely, but about finding something worth living for. Jake felt his own heart racing as she continued, I know we come from different worlds, different species. I know there will be challenges that seem impossible to overcome, but I also know that together we are stronger than we are apart. She held him close and Jake could feel the warmth of her skin, the gentle energy that flowed between them. The alien queen held the human close and murmured, I'm yours now, human, not as a surrender but as a choice. I choose you, I choose us, I choose the future we can build together. Jake looked into her eyes and saw not an alien queen, but a woman who had found the courage to love despite every logical reason not to. And I choose you too, Zara. I choose to build something new with you. Admiral Hayes watched this exchange with growing amazement. Commander Thexler's skin was now blazing with silver and gold light, clearly moved by emotions he was experiencing for the first time. This is what we were missing, the commander said to Admiral Hayes. This connection, this willingness to risk everything for another person. Your captain and our queen have shown us that love is not weakness, it is the greatest strength in the universe. The admiral was quiet for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice was softer than before. Captain Morrison, you may be a fool, but you might also be a hero. I'm going to recommend to Earth that we proceed with this alliance. 6 months later, Jake stood in the Garden of New Harmony, the first humanary colony established on a beautiful world at the edge of both species' territories. Around him, human children played with young Velnari, their laughter mixing with the musical sounds of the alien language. Queen Zara approached through the garden, her skin glowing with the warm colors of happiness and love. She was no longer a queen in the traditional sense. Her people had chosen to adopt a democratic government based on human models, but she remained their most respected leader, now serving as the elected president of the Nari Council. How are the integration reports coming? She asked, slipping her hand into his. Better than anyone expected, Jake replied. Dr. Parker says the cultural exchange is happening faster than we thought possible. And Pete reports that the joint technology projects are ahead of schedule. And Commander Thexler, Jake smiled. He's teaching human military tactics to Nari security forces. Yesterday I saw him laughing, actually laughing at one of Amy's jokes. Zara's skin shifted through pleased purples and golds. Who would have thought that the greatest discovery in the galaxy would not be a new technology or a new world, but the rediscovery of what it means to be alive? They watched as a group of human and Dari scientists worked together on a project, their different perspectives combining to solve problems that neither species could have handled alone. I have something to tell you, Zara said, her skin beginning to glow brighter. What? Dr. Parker's research has confirmed it. Humans and Velnari are genetically compatible. The first hybrid children will be born within a year. Jake stared at her, hardly daring to hope. Are you saying? I'm saying that our love has created something entirely new, not human Notari, but something that combines the best of both species. Jake pulled her close, marveling at how natural it felt to hold someone so different, yet so perfectly matched to him. What will they be like? Strong and logical like the Velnari, but passionate and creative like humans. They'll be the first generation to grow up truly understanding both ways of life. As the twin sons of new harmony set over the horizon. Jake and Zara stood together in their garden, surrounded by the evidence of what love and cooperation could accomplish. The colony was thriving. The alliance between their species was strong, and the future stretched ahead of them, full of possibilities. Do you ever regret it? Jake asked. GG up your throne, changing your entire civilization. Zara looked at him with eyes that sparkled with joy and mischief. How could I regret finding you? How could I regret learning to feel alive? She leaned against him, her skin glowing with the soft colors of contentment and love. Besides, I didn't give up anything important. I gained everything that matters: love, friendship, hope for the future. Above them, ships from both species traveled freely between the stars, carrying passengers and cargo, explorers and families. The galaxy had become smaller, friendlier place now that two species had learned to work together instead of fearing each other. Jake kissed Zara's forehead, tasting the sweet energy that flowed through her translucent skin. Around them, the sounds of a thriving community filled the air: human voices and Velari music, children playing and adults working together on projects that would benefit both species. This was what the future looked like when love conquered fear, when cooperation replaced conquest, and when two very different peoples chose to build something beautiful together. The Alien Queen.